YouTube babies, and welcome to my channel. This is my first video for not only my YouTube channel but for 2017, which is super exciting. So I wanted to do a kind of cool smoky olive eye look as my first look. I love dramatic dark eyes and bold pops of color. So to start off with the look, we're going in with the Natio Young Moisturizer as my base. And then I'm also giving my face a spray with the Lush facial spray. It's the rose water and the lavender one. And I'm just going to let that sink into my skin. I'm not a massive fan of primers, so I do just like to add some hydration because my skin can get quite oily. And then jumping in with concealer, I'm using the Urban Decay Naked Creamy Concealer in light medium. And I'm using that to prime my eyelids. I am starting off with eyes today because I am using very, very dark tones. And to prevent any fallout on my freshly laid base, I wanted to start off with the eyes. So jumping straight into the color Basic from the Laura Lee and Violet Voss palette, I'm just going to use that to set the concealer I've just popped on. This is a one palette tutorial because I wanted to make sure that anyone watching could get the most use out of one palette. So if you have this palette, it's going to be really easy to follow and do the whole look with it. So then using Press Pot on a large blending brush. This is the brush from the Spectrum Eyes collection. It's similar to the range that comes in the mermaid shell little clam thing, but I did get the eyeshadow brushes separately. So I'm just using that as a crease color, which will be my transition shade, and then going in with a slightly looser, fluffy blending brush and going in with the shade Mama Bird. Then once that's all blended in, I'm going to be picking up the shade Ragamuffin on a slightly more dense blending brush. And I'm just going to go slightly lower than what I did with the other shade, just to add a really nice pop of color in. I do like orange tones when I am doing a smoky eye, as I find it really makes them like stand out. And it kind of breaks it up for me. I'm not a fan of completely dark eyes, so I do like to have a little bit of color breaking it up. And then going in with whiskers, I'm just going to focus that in the crease a lot more, closer to my lid, and also wing it out in a V shape just to add some definition to the corners of my eyes and also make sure the colors are all blended through. And then going in with a clean blending brush and the shade Press Pot again, I'm just going to go over everything I've just done to make sure it's all neat and there's no harsh lines and the eyeshadow is blended. And then for the base of the lid, I'm going in with Lou, I think it was called. And I'm using a short shader brush just to pack this on the lid. It did take a little bit to build up, so just be patient because the black in this palette is quite chalky. So I'm just making sure I'm packing it on, blending it out, packing it on, and blending it out. And you're going to want to do that until you get the shade that you prefer, like the amount of darkness you prefer. Just remember you are going over it with a green tone, so it doesn't have to be completely perfect, but you just want to make sure you have a nice smooth base. And then going in with the shade Whiskers, again, I'm just going to use that to really smoke out the edges of the black, just to make sure it's blended into the crease and there's no harsh lines, because there's nothing worse than having a black lid and a really crisp harsh line. So just using that brown shade will just help blend it out a lot easier, and using that on a clean brush if you can. If not, you can use the same brush you used to blend whiskers in the crease before. So now I'm just doing the exact same thing on the other eyelid, making sure I'm packing on the black, blending it out, packing it on, and then blending it out again with the shade Whiskers just to make sure it's all nice and seamless. Taking Ragamuffin again on a blending brush, I'm just going to blend that back through the crease and make sure that the other colours are blended seamlessly and it still maintains that pop of orange colour. Now time for the fun part. I'm picking up the iridescent green shade from the palette and packing that all over the black base I've just laid, which is where the olive colour comes from. On its own, this would be a more greeny, light green tone, but because of the black base, that's obviously how the olive colour is born. So just blending that through once I've packed it on with a blending brush and the shade Whiskers, just to make sure it's all nice and seamless. And then for foundation, I'm taking the EX1 Foundation on a damp beauty blender and I'm just packing that onto the skin, making sure it's all blended through nicely. This is a medium to full coverage foundation depending on how well you build it up. So I did pop on 2 coats just to make sure that it did go full coverage. It's also a really nice natural finish, which is what I prefer in a foundation when I do have heavier eyes. So it's going to give you that nice glowy but still matte kind of look. Then straight into brows, I'm using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in the shade dark brown, just to fill in any sparse areas and also just to give my eyebrows a little bit more of a crisper shape. I like to have quite a nice long tail, so I do fill in the tail a little bit more and focus more product there, as my eyebrows are quite thick towards the beginning point. So just filling them in, any sparse areas, and then I'm going straight in with my Urban Decay Naked Creamy Concealer again. I'm popping that under my eyes, on my chin, on my forehead, and that's it really. And then blending it through with a beauty blender. This just adds a nice highlight to under the eyes and also conceals any discolorations and any fallout that may still be left behind from the dark shades that we used in the eyes. Invincible. And then to set that, I'm taking my Australis Banana Powder on my Real Techniques flat brush, and I'm just going to pat that under my eyes, making sure that I am smoothing out any creases as I do so, because you don't want to set creases under your eyes. And then I'm also going to pop that on my chin and on my forehead, which are the other areas where I highlighted using the concealer. And then for setting the rest of my face, I use the RCMA Loose Translucent Powder. I am quite light-handed with this because it does leave a white cast sometimes if you do go too heavy, so just make sure you are only using a light amount. And then for bronzing up the face today, I'm taking my Too Faced bronzer in Chocolate Soleil, and I'm just taking that over my forehead, on my temples, and down my cheeks and on my chin, just to give my face a nice sun-kissed glow. Because the eyes are quite dramatic, you want to make sure that your face is quite nice and bronzed so you don't look too washed out. I'm also going to be taking that bronzy shade down my nose just to add a little bit of a contour, just to give a little bit more structure to my nose and the rest of my face. And then taking the Whiskers color again on a pencil brush, I'm just going to run that down on my lower lash line, just to tie in with the top part of my eyes and make the eyeshadow look come together. And then for inner corner highlight, I'm taking Lovelies on my finger and just popping that in the inner corner. It's such a beautiful shade. It's like a baby pink champagne. And talking of baby pink champagne, I'm taking my Makeup Geek blush. I can't remember the shade name, but it will all be listed down below. I am not a blush fan, but this blush, seriously, when I saw it online, I was like, I need to have it because it looks like it's perfect for me, and with tan skin, it is honestly heaven. And then for highlight, I am taking my Real Techniques Metal Collection highlighting brush with the 2 first shades from the Carly Bible and the BH Cosmetics collaboration, and I'm just highlighting above my cheekbones, on my forehead, and on the tip of my nose. just for a beautiful heavenly glow. And I look like a little disco ball, but you know what? It's all for the makeup look. And it seriously ties it in so well. And for lashes, I'm taking, of course, my Better Than Sex mascara by Too Faced and generously coating my top lashes as well as my bottom lashes, making sure they look nice and long, and prepping them for my falsies. And my falsies I did put on off camera because I am terrible at putting them on, and I would have been there for like 81 hours. But they are the Red Cherry Wispy Lashes, and they honestly are stunning. And then for lips, I used the Kylie Cosmetics lip liner in Decay, which is a beautiful light baby pink. And I just lined my lips and filled them in, and then made sure to smudge it all together just so it was covering the lips completely. And then to top that off, I'm taking my Dose of Colors lip gloss in Stripped, and I'm just applying a nice generous coating of that over my top and my bottom lips. And then I'm just going to make sure that it's all blended in nicely with my lip liner by running my finger along it and just smooshing it all together. This shade is honestly my favorite. I'm such a sucker for baby pink nudes at the moment. So when I saw it, I think Shiny Groom had actually used it, and I fell in love because I'm addicted to lip glosses and anything baby pink nude. And then to set everything, I'm using the sample I got from Beauty Bay, which is the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. And there you have it, my finished completed olive smoky eye look and my first video for my YouTube channel. It was honestly such a pleasure filming it. It was so much fun, and I can't wait to create more content for you guys. So if you liked it, give it a thumbs up and please do subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!